Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with one of the most entertaining Protoss in the world. In the blue from Germany, it's Die Mauer, the wall. Showtime. Up against an opponent, though, who specializes in breaking those walls down. Ranked #1 in the world by Dark. It's the final boss. It's Dark. A best of 3 ZVP. Europe versus Korea. Zerg versus Protoss. Defense versus chaos. Now, already 2 Zerglings in the base. Dark wasting no time getting that information and annoying his Protoss opponent, just like I like to annoy my viewers by begging for likes and subscribes. And Jimmy, what? 1,250 likes on this series, on this cast. And I'll cast another one. And when these two are still playing, making a game of the year every other series. I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully these two about to make it just a little bit better. Starting things off relatively standard. Dark pretty heavy on the Zerglings here. Liking to take the initiative, even if it costs him a bit of his economy. Putting the fear in the heart of his opponent. And keeping that threat there is usually worth just as much. The emotional damage, a key component that we can't track in any of our various fancy tabs here in StarCraft 2. But the Oracle will spot the Zerglings and now come in towards the main. Goes for the obligatory 2 drone kills before taking a whole bunch of damage and being permanently crippled for the rest of the game, as is customary. A lair is on the way for Dark. Getting some spores here. He only has 30... Is he building a lair at the 3rd? So attempting to hide the lair here. That's the only thing. Yeah, and Showtime's gonna see it. Gets 2 more drones. And Dark actually a little supply... Oh, another Oracle taking critical damage. Oh no, get... Ah! Remember when we could fly? Wait. Overlord speed... Well, how appropriate. Showtime should be well versed in what Dark's about to do, which is the German taxi build, popularized by the German Zerg player Lambo, named after him. The Queens, they might not have been able to fly since the war, the Brood War, of course. But they will fly again, as the Overlord speed this early is not for scouting, but instead for first-class seats for up to 4 Queens. Any more and it wouldn't be first class, of course, so... it does... Showtime actually shades into the main where Dark has already built a bunch more Zerglings. Will surround the Adepts. This will buy some time. But not particularly much of it, as the Adepts get cleaned up, and now Showtime has 3... What is... Okay, Overlord coming in. And... 7 Queens! Oh, scooch over, Karen. There's plenty of space. The Queens are on the way, and more Dropper Lords, and a Nidus behind. As multiple methods of circumventing the wall, indeed. But cannons in production. Showtime was able to get a forge up in time, and he will show Dark the light of Protoss. And already, wait, did Dark turn around? Where are the Queens? Is he just... Oh my god. This is the most... I say this every series, and it's always true. Dark has dropped just 7 Queens. The Monarchy has arrived, and the Nidus behind. The exact opposite of how this usually goes. But Dark is creeping into the main. Everything the creep touches, Lucille, is our domain. But we're spreading the creep. Exactly. And now the Nidus to reinforce. Get out of here with your warp gate. Dark has arrived. The Queens established the beachhead, the creep head, but Showtime has a flexible defense here. The wall has a lot to fall back to. The cannons, the batteries, Blink Stalkers, and +1 on the way. If Showtime is able to hold on... The stasis force field! What a play out of Showtime! Isolates a dozen Zerglings. Blink is about to finish. It's just going to be Queens. Dark is building spine crawlers in his base, but I think that stasis field is going to make all the difference. With the Blink there, the Zergling's about to come out of stasis. but this has sandbagged this attack. Why use force field? And it looks like Showtime. Look at the supply. Showtime has the batteries on the back line. Even though his own main was invaded, he will drive the Zerg out. What a calm and controlled defense for someone who's literally being invaded by the Zerg. The Nidus Queen drop, which is enough to strike fear and terror and potentially end the game against almost anyone. Showtime with the most meticulous defense. And what did he even lose? 3 Stalkers and Dark has lost 99 Zerglings. Showtime. Dark has 99 problems. But Zerglings are definitely one of them. Look, 71 to 49 workers. Dark is catching up here. I think the only mistake Showtime could make is giving Dark too much time to rebuild. As he just passed the 50 worker mark. Oh, how exciting would that have been if it worked? But at the same time, the fact that Showtime just backhanded Dark out of the base. All right, he let him have his fun, but he eventually, once he had the upgrades and the position, just drove him out. So Dark not getting away. Dark has had a tendency in the past to just do these ridiculous builds against mostly foreign players, non-Korean players, against players he thinks he can beat easily. This feels like he was trying to slap Showtime out of game 1 and just move on with the series quickly. But Showtime, not a pushover here. They don't call him the Wall because of his inherent flexibility and tendency to bend or break easily. But that was an incredible defense in depth. Now, Showtime just has charge lots and stalkers against completely unupgraded, about to have melee attack, Hydras and Queens, which, that's a lot of DPS against just gateway units. Storm is in production. We've got another Robo on the way, and +3 attack. Dark has sprinted towards Hive. As, he's attempting Lurkers as his comeback mechanic here, which definitely one of the best possible options. But Showtime has 4 bases well established. He's pumping out 2 Immortals at a time, and with Storm completed against a Zerg player who is clearly pinned back to 3 base. Showtime has all the initiative. He has the advantage, he has the upgrades, and he has the supply. Dark will have to rely, yet again, on some risky tactics, I think, in order to even stay in the game, let alone win it. Lurker range on the way. I'm not sure if Showtime has spotted. More cannons in production. Making sure to lock down that main base and the front. Wow. Okay. Five Lurkers on the way. Showtime is giving Dark some space here. But he's maxed out. Is there a Warp Prism? There isn't. But with High Templar and Storm, with the Immortal Archon, there's no reason to sit back. No reason to let Dark build up any more than he already has. A couple Lurkers, a bit scary, but with the Templar, he can work his way through anything in front of the Lurkers. The Hydra's gonna have a tough time getting through. There's a Nidus, but a cannon and a Stalker in position, and he shuts it down. Dark trying things at the back. Showtime decides it's a bit too tough of a position to crack at the center, so moves around. If he can catch the Lurkers out of position just once, that's the game. Adaptive Talons on the way. Dark repositioning. Blanks in, gets one of the Lurkers. Storm to the north side, covers his flank. And the Lurker's moving up yet again. The Oracle's paying off. He's kept him alive since the initial engagements. And Showtime trying to keep the Zerg contained here as he takes a 5th base. Fleet Beacon on the way. Another Stargate heading towards carriers, just in case Dark is able... Yeah, Storm to soften up. And Lurkers on their own are easily enough dismantled. Blinks in. Another volley of Storms. Storms his own Observer to death, which is not ideal for maintaining detection. But still, drones going down. Storm to try to box out. The Immortals wandering a little far forward. More Great Storms. 15 drones dead. Another revelation, but the Queens are able to get revenge. A High Templar taken out by the Queens. Not exactly what I expected to see, but Dark is not dying. The carriers, once they arrive, are likely to be a deadly choice. Assuming Showtime isn't able to power through here, but honestly, it's getting less and less plausible. It appears Dark has the lurker count and the position to hold the line. So Showtime should be shifting in towards those carriers momentarily. Occasionally we'll see Tempest. I think carriers are the choice here. Still, though, keeping up on the Immortal Archon. There's no detection. Slices through those spawns, eviscerating everything in the front. Stalkers can't take too many lurker hits. Immortals, enough lurkers and they crumble as well. +1 air weapons, +1 shields. Dark still at 166 supply. He hasn't even really been close to maxing out. That initial aggression was not cheap. Though, in typical Dark fashion, he's unable... It's almost impossible to pin him down. Showtime slapping down 8 more cannons. More shield batteries. Making sure that he has a backstop of defense, just in case. And the lurkers, on their own again. You need something to make it more difficult. Vipers in production. Queens will make up the vast majority of the anti-air. A handful of Hydras, but mostly being used as lurker eggs. I'm sure Dark knows. This may be a carrier GG situation. Queens are good, but against double-digit carriers, they're going to have a tough time. Against, honestly, any amount of carriers, but the Viper should be able to pull out at least a couple. The Immortal count. Dark keeps trying to expand. Showtime keeps politely yet firmly disallowing it. The Hydras, snipe off the Oracle. Dark supply is creeping up there, which is quite concerning for D-Mawa. But it is just lurker. Has Dark not scouted the fleet beacon? He hasn't seen the inner part of the The Queens take the warp prism out of the sky, and Dark will continue to survive. How many lurkers? He's got 30 lurkers. What the? Dark, what are you doing? Well, if Showtime had stayed on this conventional kind of gateway toss, then 30 lurkers, yeah, that might be enough. That is an obscene amount of lurkers. But the carriers have arrived. And, Observer gets taken out. There's a revelation on these lurkers. The rest are moving. That's so many lurkers. That's so goddamn many lurkers. Like, the Vipers, what do you do with the Vipers? There's no anti-air. He's down to 1 Queen and 5 Hydras. Oh my god, the Sporist. Storms don't hit spores, which is a remarkable exchange here. We don't usually see quite like this. Hydras, well. The Vipers, feedback taken out. Yeah, the Sporist is there. The lurkers are so unwieldy. Oh my god, another Oracle down. He's rebuilding. Revelation is a near requirement to deal with this many lurkers. Even if you have observers, they can't observe all the lurkers. +2 ground armor and +2 Protoss shields completed. The Storm's a bit off the mark. And Dark is somehow making it, despite his massive deficit throughout essentially the entire game. He's driving through. That's a lot of Hydras. 1 or 2 Storms will soften it up. The Observers! Ooh. Well, a Nidus to reinforce. But it's very clear where that's going, as Dark knows. He was facing the clock there. And only one race has Chrono Boost. Showtime holds on. Honestly, I don't think it was Showtime making a mistake. It was Showtime kind of... He had almost 20 gateways. Switching to the carriers. Cannons everywhere. It's not like he was desperate to kill Dark and he failed. Alright, he was perfectly comfortable to sit back and play it out. I've seen Showtime beat Cyril. Though not on frequent occasion. With his late game patience. And Dark there. Well, a very creative, entertaining, and clickbait-worthy early attack. But at the end of the day, building spine crawlers in a base of someone who already has cannons and blink stalkers is a bit optimistic. Building spine crawlers in the base of someone who isn't also Zerg is a bit optimistic. But Dark is nothing if not an optimist. Well, a realist. A killer. Okay, just moving on. I don't... It appears the immovable object takes game one over the unstoppable force. That was such a beautiful defense, too. That was perfect. He lost, like, 3 stalkers and maybe, an adept in defending Dark's entire all-in. Like, you can't... It doesn't get much better. Now, we're on Oceanborn. Showtime. Not building that warp gate. So the little detail that has become standard, that a few players will use as a mind game. But you delay warp gate slightly in order to get that 50 gas a little bit quicker to get a Stargate. Mostly because you're not even really using a warp gate that early, because you're focused on building Stargate units, the third Nexus. But Dark, sitting there with the Overlord watching what's coming out of the gate, whether he's building a warp gate. Doesn't have the little icon there, but it's unlikely to be +1 air weapons. Occasional, very occasional. But Showtime, throwing shade, looking around, somewhat ironically. That was such a great defense. I love every part of that. Both Dark deciding, yeah, I'm gonna do the queen drop into Nidus, which is like, you bring in the cart and the horse, and you're like, everybody else, and then you bring in like 3 more carts. That's the situation there. And then Showtime's just, the stasis on the ramp. Again, Dark, with a clutch of Zerglings early. Very intent on denying that third Nexus. At the cost of his own economy. Showtime playing it safe. He's gonna poke out, but he's got that Oracle patrolling kind of jankily back. Oh, because it's on a small enough patrol pathing, it ends up going in a circle. But, yeah, 2 adepts should be enough, especially with another Oracle coming out just in time. Oh, gee. Bit of micro there, burns through some lings. Another Oracle. Meet and greet with the Queen. More Queens on the way for Dark. I doubt he'll do it again, which means it's likely he'll do it again. Again, Showtime throws out 5 adepts. This kind of off-tempo timing. Designed to hit right when Dark is droning up, as well as exploiting the oracles in order to cover the adepts and anything but like under the sport. Oh my, look at that positioning. Slips in behind the mineral line. The Zergling's still able to get a pretty remarkable amount of surface area. And will take out the adepts. Loses 5 drones. Dark building 11 more, but that's quite a hit. Especially considering Showtime already has his 3rd. He's building up. He's got the Twilight. He's got the Forge. So we should be seeing Blink and +1 momentarily. So overall, I'd say it's hard to judge at this stage. I feel like drone losses matter less to Dark, who's used to playing at like 60 total. But there's the Blink and +1. Fourth base, fourth hatch starts for Dark, alongside his lair, which is nearly completed. Oh, it's charge! He started Blink. I'm not sure what he saw, but he cancels it and ups for charge and +1. Which definitely gives you aggressive potential. But it is more easily countered if it's scouted. So Blink Stalkers are your middle of the road. I can kind of defend anything. I can put some pressure on. Whereas Archon Charge Lot hits a lot harder, but has more direct responses. Like Hydra, Ling Bane is good against Blink Stalkers, but you can always retreat. Whereas, with Archon Charge Lot, once you dive in, those units do not have much range. 4 more gates on the way. That'll bring Showtime up to the 3 base 8. Hydra's on the way for Dark. I think anticipating the Blink Stalkers. Hydra's still good against the Archon Charge Lots. Very notably here, no Banelings. So, reliant entirely on the Hydraling unit composition. Though, once again, still quite good against gateway units. Showtime, 69 probes, which is a nice economy to start things off. Now getting a 4th Nexus. Dark opting for the Infestation Pit, which likely straight towards Hive to get lurkers. +2 Protoss ground weapons. Dark actually switched from +2 melee to +1 ranged attack when he saw the Archon. Interesting to note. That stasis catches some lings, going to be helpful, but that's not nearly enough Protoss here. The Oracles try to help out, but Showtime clearly scrambling up to the high ground. Manages to juggle 3 of the Archons away. So, mitigates the losses. But they were losses overall, as Dark is overrunning that army with relative ease. More Hydras in production. No Hive yet for Dark, which I think is just an oversight for now, as he has the money in the bank. Roach speed on the way. Just straight up Roach Hydra. Storm for Showtime is the correct and a strong choice against this sort of biomass army. Wow, just 13 Roaches. He's just going mass Roach against it. Showtime, your Templar. Showtime, the Templar. Okay, he'll only lose 1. Could have been much worse. If he loses all of those Templar there, that's tantamount to potentially losing the game. So those Templar are very important. Alright, Storm is completing. Showtime. Dark with this old school Roach Hydra strategy. Threw some Zerglings in there as well, but he's just gonna lead on Showtime, and we'll see if the wall can hold yet again. Goes in towards the natural, but that's a lot of Templar and a lot of Storm. The Immortal holds the door. Nothing stronger. The Concave is good. Dark weathering the storms. Missile attacks. Level 1 about to complete, but so is +2 Protoss ground. Gets a Templar sniped off. And there's still a lot of Hydras. The Storm, mediocre. Down goes the Cyber Core, and Showtime's own gateways are working against him with this unit composition. The Pylon depowers 3 gates in a robo. The area is going to be opened up, but Dark is still maxed out. Showtime needs to stop the bleeding soon, or he's not going to stop it at all. The Archons are powering through. Immortals adding a lot of DPS on the back line. But Dark just has so much here. He just keeps sending it across. Showtime is crumbling. Dark with... This is not a finesse-oriented strategy. The brute force shoving his way into the natural. Killing all of the probes. The storms were good, but Dark just walks over them. Over the bodies of his roaches and his hydras. And with it, he ties the series up. 1-1. A great effort, but I feel like Showtime, focusing on his unit composition, just didn't have enough units in general. And Dark, he skipped the hype. He just went for it. He commits. All right. And that, if you can anticipate it, maybe you can get ahead. But at the end of the day, he just put so much out there so quickly, it was impossible for Showtime to hold. I think even with near perfect storms, it looked like just so much. It's been a while since we've... Oh my. Oh my. All right, Doc. It's a straight up... Yeah, this is a hidden proxy. Wait. He got the natural. And now he's gonna get the other net. Oh, wait. Showtime brought his probe down in time. I think he's too late on the drone. Yeah. Showtime slaps down the Nexus. Dark. He was trying the proxy hatch, but he's just a split second late. That means Showtime? Oh, no. Oh, he gets the block. So because the assimilator or the extractor are slightly larger because they go over the geyser, if you hold position a worker there, or just have it right-clicked, though better to hold position, you can't build on it because it's technically blocking. This is why sometimes you can block yourself in when building a gas geyser. It's rare because it's only marginally larger, but that's how you block the... there was a tactic before where you could circumvent that by being out of vision when you built it. So you were able to slap it down, but that no longer is successful against the whole position. Stargate is on the way. That constant scouting, it really is the staple. It is odd to not go 80 to 90% of the time. The Stargate. Slightly less for Oracle, but still the vast majority of games. Because the Oracle, you got scouting, you got potential damage, you have utility, stasis is great. They build up energy over time, so there's real value in building them early. This drone is so... Predator drone here from Doc. It's like, this is how I feel. This is how I feel when the probe comes in. Alright? Oh my god, he blocked the pylon accidentally. Yeah, how do you like it? Showtime's like, okay, fine. Like, you've scouted, I'm doing exactly the same build that every Protoss does every game. Shucks. Meanwhile, Adepts into the natural actually commits. It's a lot of Zerglings, but later Zergling speed out of Dark. Adepts slip through. It's 4 drones for 2 Adepts at a pretty key timing. Look at Dark's drone count. Yeah, you know what I meant. Drone count, 25. Which, again, he's gone for the Zergling, so taking those losses is actually quite a blow at this stage of the game. But he may be able to kill the probe. Oracle lights up to severely discourage it. Two more gases at the natural quite quickly here for Showtime. Right around 4 minutes. Which means we're going to see pretty heavy tech behind it. I haven't seen a mass Stargate build in a while. The Treacles online. 3 Oracles done. The Adepts coming across. Here we go again. We'll see. 4 Adepts. There's enough Zerglings to make it difficult here. Without the Oracles involved. Whoa! He decides to shade through. Gets a couple drones, but bit of an odd choice there indeed. As he loses a couple of depths. I think Dark a bit surprised by that as well. Twilight and Forge on the way. The gas count is good enough to go for, well, really any direction now. Oracle slide into the natural, but get off my creep! Brenda has her revenge on those oracles. Wrongs righted. Blink +1 Showtime a bit slow on the draw there. I think really trying to keep the pressure on Dark. Gotta be careful not to keep too much pressure on yourself as well. Dark now getting that drone count up there. In the 60s. Showtime as well. Dark about to finish his lair. Roach Warren nearly completed. +1 melee in production. What's it gonna be? The Roach Warren is quite early this time. Oracle slide in again. There's no Spore. The hubris from Dark. Another Oracle is taken down. And only one set. Go tell your friends what happened here. Oh, who am I kidding? You don't have friends. I know. Sorry. Spire on the way from Dark as Showtime opts for a Templar Archives and a Robo. So he's going to fill out the entirety of the tech tree effectively here. And because that Oracle is so badly bruised, it's very unlikely he's going to be sending it through the base. Like, he's just not going to have that much info. Very well could catch Showtime by surprise with the Mutas. Yes, Muta's always a dangerous choice, but a risky one many times for Zerg, because if they do get scouted, they are hard countered by Phoenixes. If you have 3-4 Phoenixes, you can kite near infinite Mutas across the entire map. But if you have 0 Phoenixes, you cannot do that. So a lot of this relies on the element of surprise. I wonder if he builds a single piece just to deal with it, but Blink Stalkers. And now Dark, I think, is showing everything. He wants to show some aggression to kind of cover for the Mutalisks. He's going to send those Zerglings out. He doesn't have that many drones. A dozen Mutas on the way. Those gases are conspicuous. The gases at the third. He's only, right now, Showtime has only seen Zerglings. There's a revelation on the eggs. He isn't building cannons, and he isn't building Phoenixes. So he's not suspicious of Mutas. At least not yet. But he also hasn't seen anything else. The Mutas are out. It's gotta be getting... Well, it's almost too late to be scouting it before it gets to your base. Showtime will have some tough choice. He's building a Phoenix. He either saw it, or it's becoming clear, by lack of anything else, that there is something going on. And having any Phoenixes to start is a huge... Oh, he did build a cannon in the main. And now he's getting a battery. He's anticipated the Mutas. But there are so many of them. And that pylon is looking mighty vulnerable here. A Phoenix about to pop out, but so many probes already dead. Stacking him up on the gas geyser. I don't know, Kev. 17 probes dead. The entire main base has been ransacked. 5 more Mutas on the way. A storm ends up killing probes. A storm pretty good against the Mutas, but if they survive, they will heal up quickly. What is that? Recall? I believe an Oracle recalled? Yes, the Oracle was recalled home. Might as well use it while Dark's not looking. But more Mutas on the way. The initial wave did a lot of damage. But Dark is just making more Mutas. He's got 23 of them. He's going up to 30. Oh my god. +2 ground weapons was delayed by Contaminate. 3 seconds out. The tactical goop. The Overseer survived that entire time. There are 31 Mutalisks now. 60 supply, but the Storms are good. On top of the Archons, but the Phoenixes taking him out of the sky. The storms start the fight, and the Phoenixes can help end it. That's so many. Oh my god. Swings around and knocks one out of the sky. He's gonna go Sky Zerg. Corruptors to just bully the Phoenixes away while the mutas do the damage underneath. But Showtime has held, and now he's building 2 Phoenixes at a time. He doesn't have any other upgrades on the way. Shield battery going to be targeted. The storms have done well enough thus far. The muta count still 27 with 11 corruptors in production. And Dark is expanding across the map. And he doesn't have a hive. He doesn't have an infestation pit. Showtime is starting to take this very seriously. He's getting a fleet beacon. He got a second Stargate. He's getting +1 air. But is it too late? The muta's swinging again. Gets a revelation, but he doesn't need a revelation to know that those mutas are right there on top of his probes. 9 more probes down. That's a lot of damage from that many mutas. The Phoenix count, especially without range. With range, you can kite the corruptors. Without it, it's really not worth it. As Phoenixes and corruptors have the same cost, mutas are cheaper. Those corruptors, well, Dark does have to be careful not to put so much of his supply in air that he just gets walked over by the ground army. That is a big risk right now. The storms. And more in the main. I don't think he had quite enough energy on that Templar. Unfortunately. Got so many Templar here. What a crazy, it's like a Wings of Liberty fight. Another storm, softening things up. Those corruptors don't heal nearly as quickly. The Phoenix count. Now, getting to double digits. A very meaningful number, especially when he gets the +1 air weapons, because those Phoenixes have 2 attacks. They benefit, not necessarily doubly, but it helps negate the weaknesses of the Phoenixes against the armor of the corruptors. Storm, Phoenixes, Dark. Actually, Showtime is maxed out, and he's sending out some small groups here. What is Dark's ground army? Only has his 45 Zerglings, which are easily dealt with by any amount of Archon charge law, pretty much. The Phoenix is moving to intercept the Corruptors, doing a pretty great job thus far. +1 air is done. The Corruptors having a tough time even engaging the Phoenixes. The base is taken out. The mass muta. And we got a hive on the way. The dance continues. Dark has a lot of money in the bank. Showtime, not so much. But Showtime's army is definitely stronger in a straight-up fight. It's just that Dark is unlikely to give him one. The mutas are not designed for that. Shields level 1 about to complete. Another task force is sent out of charge lots. May be able to kill the base. The mutas will be dragged back, giving the Phoenixes a potential opportunity. Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. But the Banelings are just waddling into the third. Showtime spots it. And bashes through here, but pretty solid trade. Doesn't kill the hatchery with the Zealots, but Showtime, yeah, it's not a particularly winning battle to sit back. Oh, the mutas, storms. He gets the observer though. Phoenix count. He's got 15 of them. All right, any more storms underneath? Beautiful storms. He's just split. He's just going. All right, he's fighting against the storm. And, well, a lot of mutas are dead. There's another fight on the other side. The Corruptors are zoning out. Showtime is losing a lot of his Phoenixes in this fight. Still trying to kite back. A lot of bruised Corruptors. The mutas are healing up. Enough of them survive. 8 Ultralisks. That's the killing blow he wants. Will it be enough? The double robo was built by Showtime, but he hasn't really built any more. 8 Ultralisks is a lot of Ultralisks, and Phoenixes cannot lift Ultras. So, while he's kiting back, and he's doing a great job of it, 9 Ultras in production. Okay, all right, you can just look at the number. More Ultras in production. My God. This is like Dark's Enrage timer. Eventually, mass ultras. And, oh, the transfuse is turning around. Showtime. He's not getting lulled into a false sense of security here. There are more Phoenixes on the way, but it felt like he anticipated the Ultra switch with his mass robo production. But he didn't actually, he hasn't built anything out of the robos, as he's been dealing with the mutas. But a new Lisk is on the field. And this one, oh no. Showtime spots it, but here come the Ultras. At least speed isn't done. The Storm's to soften it up. But the Zerglings with the wraparound. The Templar are taken out. Archon caught. There's still a few mutas in the natural. Another Nexus was taken out to the south. I believe the Corruptors were able to do that. Where's Shield Battery Overcharge? He needs it. I don't know if that's even enough to stop the Ultras, but fighting his way back. The Ultra is being whittled down, but he's building more, and more Zerglings as well. The Archon's tanking a lot of the Ultra damage. But now they're getting into the mineral line. The Phoenixes feeling remarkably impotent. Zerglings swarming into the fourth base. And the Ultras are cleaving through the cannons. The charge lots sprint in to defend. But the Ultras will not be stopped. And now the Zerglings on top of the Stalkers. Into the natural. Into the third. The Cyber Core under attack. And dark swarms over Showtime. The wall is crumbling from all sides. And there's nothing left to stop him. The Phoenixes lifting up all the drones, trying to equal the economic damage, but it's just too little. And it's far too late. Dark, in one of the most Zerg games I've ever seen, with the mass Muta into the mass Ultralisk, keeps Showtime off balance to cut him to pieces. And that means he ends up taking the victory. But quite an entertaining Zerg versus Protoss series, if I do say so myself, which is what we're here for, I think. But hopefully it made your day as much better as it did mine. And if you got the means of motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon, YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. And checking out recommended is super helpful if you're looking for more good games for the fans. Speaking of, the second channel in the description, or Winter Gaming TV. Any more game streams, Stormgate, Zero Space, other games you may eventually care about. But either way, thank you for watching. Hope I made your day a little bit better. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.